Hello, Aries, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. We are in the middle of a heat wave here, and it's been lovely. It's my favorite season. I love being outside. In fact, it's late in the evening here because I've been out there all day. I love the heat. So that's been my day. Anyway, this will be your weekly reading for the week of June 29th through July 5th. During that time, we have a waxing crescent moon, and that can be a really good time of heightened senses. It's a good time to, buckle down, execute the goals and projects and things that you've just started. Just buckle down and get some work done. We do have a first quarter moon that comes in on the 3rd or the 4th, and that can be a time where you feel a little bit impulsive, impatient, where your mind's active. It's just kind of hard to get things done. And then, we then move into that waxing gibbous energy, which you can buckle back down. So keep that first quarter, especially in mind if you're a little irritable and don't want to work. It's also July 5th, right after the holiday. So I understand. Nobody wants to get anything done. We've got a card flying out. We will take that card for you, Aries. This will be an intuitive general reading for the energies that you may or may not encounter, Aries. So, of course, please keep that in mind. Please take what resonates, leave what doesn't for someone else. And your overall message card, Aries, for this reading is show the world the real you. All right, let's see what you guys have going on. We will be adding, I'm going to add a card this week. And this is a deck called the Self-Care Wisdom Cards by Cheryl Richardson. I need to put all the decks that I use on my descriptor, but I just thought it was a really pretty deck, and it's all about self-care. I just thought it was awesome. So we're going to add those. We will pull one of those for you at the end of the reading with the Soul Oracle cards that we always use. So, all right, without further ado, let's get to the tarot. Aries, since my readings are free to you, all that I ask in return is that you hit that subscribe button. It's really easy for you to do, and it does help my channel. It just kind of pushes it out there in the algorithm, which is, you're just competing against so many things out there, not just tarot videos, but every sort of kind of video in the world. So if you would do me the favor of just clicking that button and subscribing, that would be great. Also, if you like this reading, hit the like button when you're done. That also helps. So, and if you've been a subscriber, thank you so much for doing so, and thanks for coming back. I noticed that I have some pretty loyal people, and that my view counts at the end of the week are nearly the subscriber count. So people that are subscribed are actually watching my videos, which is my goal here. I don't want subscribers that aren't watching, but if you're watching and enjoying, even if you give me a chance for a couple of weeks, if you don't like, you can unsubscribe. But if you're getting something out of the readings, it's just really nice if you would subscribe. So anyway, all that being said, my weekly reminder this week is something that I always do, is that you keep a spiritual journal, because sometimes we don't recognize the patterns that are evolving in our life when it comes to our spiritual, experiences and our evolution, but keeping track of those things. And this could be things like things that you learn or synchronicities that you're having, dreams that you're having. It helps you kind of look back in the future, look back on patterns that were emerging that are kind of bringing you up to today, right? So if you don't keep track of those, you can't look back. So it's been an important tool for me, and it's just something I want to remind you guys to do. If it's not something that you do, it's a good idea. All right, without further ado, Aries, June 29th through July 5th, show the world the real you. All right, Aries, your present energy. Well, look at you. If that's the real you, that's very awesome. The 10 of Pentacles, this is our card of wealth, security. This is, let me get organized here. This is kind of like just the dream life that that you're able to build things, not only in the material world, but also in the emotional world. Just everyone around you is happy and healthy. So if that's the real you, I love that you're showing that. Please do show that to the world. Your current situation is the 3 of Wands here. So you're thinking about, maybe a new venture, something that you've been wanting to do. This could be about traveling. You might be planning a vacation or a trip to do something, but Aries, show the world the real you. And if that means deciding where the real you would go on a vacation or a trip, or what your next adventure might be, then go ahead and start planning that, right? At the root of your situation is the Hermit. So maybe you've recently had some time where you've kind of gone inward, done some inner searching, and sometimes there's a catalyst that can bring you to that. Something might, you might read something or excuse me, have a conversation with somebody that, just kind of makes you think about things, and you go within and you think, maybe I should take that trip. Maybe I should do that project, that thing that I've been putting off, whatever. And I don't know why I'm prompted to say that. Probably for some of you that was the case, but something has caused you to go within and just kind of do a little bit of soul searching on maybe what it is next. And it's just, you're wondering, how do you get to the end of this road? How do you get to the 10 of Pentacles, which is, this like I said, it's wealth and security. That's like a generational thing. And so you're thinking bigger along those lines, which is awesome. In your recent past is the Empress card. So here's the Empress. She's our card of, this is, creativity. This could be someone that did motivate you to kind of go within and start thinking a little bit deeper about something. The Empress is our card of pregnancy. It could be for some of you that there's a pregnancy involved, and you are kind of thinking bigger, and you are off on a new venture. It could be that you have children and you're thinking kind of just about the future. What can I do to make sure their future is secure? What can I do to, I like this card because you don't really, it's very hard to see, but look at this little child here peeking around from the outside. So, how can I think about not only my children but my grandchildren? Are there ways for me to invest or do things that are going to pay off over the generations? That there's some security there for generations. Of course, the Empress, even though she's about pregnancy, she's not about always about actual pregnancy, although she can be. I like to make that disclaimer because she can be. But the Empress is about creativity that you're going to do long term, something that is going to come to fruition, maybe months or even years from now. So there's something there in your recent past that has motivated you again to think about, to go within and think about things and think about new ventures in your future. I'm going to go back again, show the world the real you. What is the real you? What have you given birth to? What things are you thinking about? And how would the real you get to this place of generational wealth, security, and stability? Generational wealth isn't always about money. It's about creating a certain atmosphere in your family that then your kids will go on and create with their kids, and on and on and on. And those are things that you get to think about further down the line. You're thinking about those things and what you're putting into your children as well. What is on your mind this week is the Five of Swords. So it looks like maybe there's been some sort of words coming through. This is our card of winning through deceit or underhanded tactics. And it could be that something like that went on around you, and, you were witness to that or somehow involved in that. Were you the person being deceitful, or was someone deceitful to you, which is causing you to kind of think of all these things? It could be that, that there were some words shared that maybe this is you in the background that you were very upset by, and it's caused you to go within, think about the future, decide to really make a change of something. So, think about that. That's kind of on your mind. I think about the Five of Swords also as, if this is you, things were said, but you didn't say everything, that maybe you're holding on to some of those words or some things that maybe, you lashed out and you said things to people, right or wrong, but you didn't say everything. You've kind of held some things back. So that could also be the case for you. What is just ahead of you? King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is very much like the Ten of Pentacles. Very, same thing. The King of Pentacles is someone who understands how the world works. They have the knowledge of, how material things come into being, how to acquire things, how to organize things, how to make sure things are moving and going, just kind of, I really also get the Emperor vibes with the King of Pentacles. It's like someone who just knows how to get stuff done. But anytime it's royalty like this, it's not only that this person knows how to get things done for themselves, but they also know how the kingdom operates, how the people around them operate. So if you're in a position like that, and this could be with work or with your family, or you just know how things operate, and you would know who to put in charge of what. Let's say you were running a project and you had 10 people to choose from. You would know every strength of those 10 people to know where to put them to make sure that things flow. So that's kind of King of Pentacles vibes, and that's in front of you. If you're thinking about this with your family, or organizing something in that realm. You definitely know how to put those kind of tools to work and put people to work so that it's for, for the better of everyone. In your advice position is the magician. Oh, I love when the card is in this position because, the magician is asking you, your advice is to make a choice here. And the choice is, how do you choose your future, and how do you show the real you? Is it going to be through cups? Is it going to be, through something you come with emotionally? Is it going to be through pentacles? We've seen quite a few, pentacles here on the table. Is it going to be through the wands of passion, the passion of travel, or, adventure, or, something that really, really excites you, or would it be the art of swords, which is, the art of the intellect and the art of words. So, in your advice position is, it's kind of, mull these things over enough so that you know what you're choosing next, in what area. And sometimes when we do that evaluation, it's like, what area of my life, you kind of look at what's going well, but maybe you also look at what's not going well. So maybe your finances are in order and your house is in order, your job's going great and everything, but maybe your communication with your partner or your friends isn't awesome. Maybe, I don't see any cups on the table here. Maybe it's your emotional life. Maybe this is where, you need to plug a little bit more into your closer relationships so that you're getting out of them, a depth of what those relationships can really mean, closeness, and really just knowing people, right? Knowing the people around you, whether it be your partner or your spouse, your kids, your really close friends. So, but the magician is asking you, in what way do you want to improve your life right now? And you get to choose that. And I love that the card is in that. You're in the advice position. It's just saying, make a choice this week. What is beyond your control is the Lover's card. That's a great thing to have beyond your control. It looks like beyond your control is that you at least have this balanced, you have a relationship. It's there for you. I guess when everything else that you're planning, you have that person there to rely on, and that's pretty awesome. Or if you're not in a relationship, it may be beyond your control that that person starts to appear for you. Maybe it is cups that you choose, and there's a person that appears for you this week. So pay attention to that. Look out for that. That's either strengthen a current relationship or keep your eyes open for a new relationship because it's beyond your control. What is your secret desire? What you're trying to avoid is here with juggling the Two of Pentacles. So, is it your secret desire to kind of keep everything in the air, or are you trying to avoid being this person that's kind of having to juggle? The phrase to me that comes to mind is that, choice is a luxury. When the less choices you have, and this to me is a card of less choices, when you're trying to juggle this and that and the other, it's because things are a little crazy, things are going on, and it's probably based on your decisions in the past, your actions in the past. But do you to avoid juggling life like that, and especially the material world like that, you have to sometimes just make the sacrifices to, make sure you're saving enough money, make sure that you've thought things through, maybe cut back, maybe tighten that budget up so that you're not feeling like this every month, feeling that need to kind of, juggle, move money from here to there or whatever to get things done so that you have more choice. I mean, I'm even nervous just for some reason looking at that card, and the fact that it's in this position. Is that your secret desire? I hope not. Or are you trying to avoid doing that, which is really what I hope. And by avoiding it, again, you're making better decisions so that every month isn't that, that juggle like that. Of course, that's going to happen for all of us at some points, but you just don't want to make that a pattern, a habit each month. And your outcome position is, yeah, financial stability. Lots of pentacles in this, but also look how many major arcana cards. We've got one, two, three, four major arcana. You're kind of at, I'm going to say this is kind of a pivotal point for you and a big point for you, Aries. We all go through these kind of big changes, and it looks like there is something in your past here that's come through, and it's making you make a bigger change than usual. This isn't like a normal week where you're kind of just doing the things to get by. Something is out there for you. And again, if it's your past, if it's some sort of pregnancy thing or project thing that you're kind of continuing to work on, and maybe you're kind of getting closer to the end of it. For some of you, you may getting towards, maybe you're thinking more about retirement, and you kind of pushing forward to that. And you're thinking, did I do all the things that I need to do to make sure that I've got the stability in my relationship, my financial life, so, but you are definitely thinking about the future, and again, and about new ventures. Is there something that you're maybe, wanting to bring about because of this, and because of this deeper thought that's not something you would normally choose? Again, show the world the real you. It might be something that you've held back for your entire life, and you decide, you know what, I'm going to finally go for this and get this project going. What is hidden from you this week is Temperance. So, this is our card of inspiration. This is balance. This is just kind of, really, um, this, to me, this is kind of that balancing those emotions with the material world, which honestly, we didn't see any cups here unless they're in other cards. So, of course, we've got the cups here and the cup and the magician, but there's no cups appearing on your entire reading. This tells me that there may be something that is kind of lacking in your emotional world, that you're very focused on, on the material world, very focused on, or somewhat focused on passion and communication, on air energy, but that you are lacking some sort of focus here on the emotional part. So pay attention to that. And it might be something that you need to maybe just kind of give a little bit more attention to, if that makes sense. All right, we're going to get some final messages here for Aries. We'll first start with the Soul Oracle deck and see. There's other messages here for you. Final message for Aries. Shine your light. That kind of goes along with show the world the real you. And then we are going to pull from this deck. This is the Self-Care Wisdom cards from Cheryl Richardson. And let's give these a good shuffle, since I haven't yet. I just kind of looked through and read how lovely they are. I really love the messages on them. And I hope you enjoy them as well. All right. How about a self-care card for Aries? How should they take care of themselves this week? All right. The card that pops up here is Security. And the message is, true security comes from having a reserve of time, space, energy, personal power, love. Make deposits in all of these accounts and you'll be a wealthy person indeed. So that's kind of back to what I was saying about what's missing here is emotions. And it looks like, you have made deposits into, you're making deposits into these financial accounts. There's a lot of things having to do here with, with that kind of financial security. It looks like somewhat in the passion as well, also with air energy. But what's missing here is your emotional. It's just not coming up this week. And let's make sure that you are, like the card says, making deposits into those accounts, because that matters. That matters that, if you're, you're going through life and you're working really hard and you're making sure that things are taken care of financially, are you making sure that you're giving that kind of time here to your relationship and to your partner, to your husband or your wife, that you're making sure that you're putting that energy in, so that there doesn't arrive a day where your bank accounts are full, but you look around and you don't know each other. So make sure that you are making those emotional investments as well. So Aries, I wish you all the best with this. I really appreciate you joining me here today. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a message down below. Let me know if there's some new venture that you're thinking of. I'd like to see in the comments, and I'm sure other Aries would like to kind of compare those notes. But make sure that you guys are shining your light this week. Show the world the real you. Be you. Make your decisions in that way also. So again, I really appreciate your time. I hope there was something that you can take away and use. I do post every week. So come back next week and we'll see if this energy continues or if there's something completely new here for you. Also, again, if you like my channel, please like and subscribe. It helps my channel, and most importantly, it'll help you find me next week. So thanks so much, Aries. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.